I'm experiencing a weird market right now as I look for a home in the Richmond area, and I'm wondering if anybody else is feeling it too. I'm not even sure weird is the right word, but there's definitely something happening. Last Saturday, I walked into an open house in Magnolia Green, toured, and then walked right back out. The updates were good. There was a few things that didn't work for me, but mainly it was the price point. So I'm like, okay, are we in a weird market right now? Let's explore. I'm Kristen John, and I'm a real estate agent. I'm mainly a listing specialist with eXp Realty and their luxury division. And I work with sellers in the Northern Virginia and Richmond market, people going through some kind of life transition, just like I am relocating. And I help sellers get their property ready to list and get it sold. And I'm digging into this market that we are in right now firsthand because I am making a move to purchase a home in Richmond. And because I'm going through this search right now, I'm experiencing some of the things that my buyers are telling me. And I'm wanting to understand a little bit more about what it feels like and why it does feel a little bit off or weird. So going back to that house from this past weekend, I'm sure the agent priced the house correctly off the comps, but those comps were set before the rates climbed to where they are now. And the number on paper doesn't necessarily match what a buyer is willing to pay for that house now. And unfortunately, I think that house may sit and the seller may not understand why, because they're doing everything correctly. It's a market shift. The stats say that we are in a seller's market. We have about 2.5 months of inventory. So right now, sellers are supposed to be calling the shots, but homes are sitting. Price drops are happening everywhere, and it feels nothing like what the numbers say, which is different than in any other market I have sold in. So I want to break down what's actually happening and what it means for you if you're thinking about selling or relocating here. Here's what I think the disconnect may be. We've got a couple months of inventory, so that means that the seller should be calling most of the shots. There should be some multiple offers, quick closes. List price is the floor, not the ceiling. Instead, I'm seeing homes sit for 60, 90, even 120 days. Price drops are happening and buyers are not making offers. So why the gap between what the numbers say, the inventory is pretty good, but what's actually happening is homes are sitting? Well, there's a couple reasons that I want to dive in right now and talk about. A lot of sellers already know what that number is that they want to sell at, and they're quite honestly not moving off of it. They'd rather sit on the market for a few more months or a few more weeks than pull, or they're going to pull the listing entirely, then come down to where the buyers are actually willing to pay, right? So they're here, buyers might be here. Sellers want that market of 2021, 2022. I mean, I've heard sellers say, my neighbor got a great deal back on their home in 2023, and now I want the same thing. Well, that's not the market we're in. If you wanted that, you should have sold in 2023. Sellers are technically in the driver's seat when it comes to inventory, but they have not adjusted their mindset to match where the buyer's at. That's one big disconnect. And buyers aren't even coming back with an offer, even a lower offer. They're not even negotiating. They're just moving on to the next listing. In fact, I'm proof of that. I'm doing that. So if sellers are holding out for a number instead of pricing it for today's buyer, you're really not even testing that market. You're really just on the sidelines sitting it out. And quite honestly, the buyer market doesn't care. You may end up, which I think a lot of sellers are going to do here, take the home off the market, and they're going to wait it out. But then the question becomes, what happens when you decide to come back on the market, let's say in early spring? We don't really know because our market is changing right now every single week. Buyers aren't afraid of missing out. They're afraid of overpaying or overextending themselves with their monthly mortgage. Rates this week are the highest they've been in 12 months. Combine that with prices on homes that are at record highs, and every buyer is just doing that math in their head before they even walk in the door. They're not looking at homes for a potential or a deal. If a home needs work or the price isn't dialed in exactly where it should be, they're not even fighting for it. They're just waiting for the next listing, and usually that next listing shows up the next week. And here's what sellers, who I think really are still in the driver's seat, haven't caught on to yet. Buyers are not in a hurry. They're not paying to fix or update your home for 2026. Turnkey is the bar now. And even in certain areas, those turnkey homes are having a hard time selling because buyers are not seeing the value relative to the purchase price and their mortgage payment. And if that's happening, the price has to move to match the market. That's the only thing that can move. That's it. That shift really matters because what used to drive the market is FOMO. Now, caution drives the market. This one's predictable and it happens every year with the change in season. Once summer hits, the most competitive buyers, the ones who were fighting over listings maybe back in the spring, have already closed. People are going on their final vacations for the summer. The market naturally quiets down. So part of what feels kind of weird right now really isn't weird at all. It's the calendar doing what the calendar always does. And we always remember this as agents in August. As we are going into this late summer, early fall, school is going to be back in session. Again, vacation season is wrapping up if you have family members. But if you need to relocate or move on for any reason, you're going to have to really look very carefully at that bottom line to get buyers to fall in love with your house immediately, because it has to be priced correctly for them to even make that offer. And while September, we do know things pick up, mid-September or so, but if you need to sell before then, you have to be savvy right now and get the right buyers in front of your house at the right price to make that quick offer before this summer window closes, because we don't really know what's going to happen in the fall market. And I'm not talking theory here because I'm going through this in real time as I relocate to Richmond. I'm walking the neighborhoods, I'm going to open houses, I'm talking to people. Even that, Magnolia Green house I mentioned, it was a great house in a great neighborhood. The updates were fine. For me, it just wasn't priced correctly. And I just passed. And I'm like, ooh, I'm feeling what buyers are feeling. And a lot of the time, that is going to be what's happening across the market. Not that homes are bad, not that homes aren't in great condition. It's the pricing that doesn't match what a buyer is willing to pay for it. And if I'm feeling it as a buyer and as a listing agent, I have to imagine other buyers are feeling this too. And recently, I experienced this as an agent where I was a little bit nervous putting my Springfield home on during the summer months here because I wasn't sure what the market was doing. But the home was ready to go. I did a ton of pre-marketing. I got the photos out early. And I really said to my sellers, listen, we have to price this where I think it needs to have a lot of eyes on it. A buyer who wanted that exact neighborhood in the condition that this home was in came in with an over-ask price offer and took it right off the market. And I don't love doing this as a listing agent because I haven't really tested the market yet, right? I don't like pulling things off fast, but it kind of made sense for this particular home because I could not predict whether it would sell quickly given the buyer pool we had at that price point and where rates were trending at that time. Two things really worked in the seller's favor for that. It was a true turnkey home with real upgrades. They really made some nice improvements over the years that they lived there. And two, the sellers were willing to work with the buyer's timeline. We were negotiating, we were flexible. We were willing to make the deal happen so that the home got sold. That's it, guys. Here's the truth. The market isn't broken and it maybe isn't weird, it just feels that way. But once we understand what's going on, we can kind of wrap our head around it. Sellers hold the inventory advantage on paper, but buyers hold the leverage on price and condition. The sellers winning right now are the ones who are accepting that and are acting on it before the season closes out. If you're, thinking about why my home isn't selling or why my neighbor's home's not selling, and you're thinking about, oh my gosh, I got to list this fall because I'm going to relocate, let's not guess your way through it. I help sellers all the time figure out exactly what we need to do in the home with the updates and the condition. We get it priced right, we present it well, and I want to get it in front of the buyers who are going to fall in love with it and make offers. That is my job. If this is you and you're kind of like, what is going on? Send me a message, drop a comment. I want to know if you're seeing this or experiencing this. Pick up the phone or text me because I really want to have these conversations so that you can kind of understand what's going on in this market. You know, my Richmond move is happening in real time for me, and I'm bringing you along for it so that I have this knowledge to help not only buyers who are relocating, but sellers who want to list. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more, and if you ever need me, just give me a text. Have a great day, everyone.